Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel, Bachelor Nation News. Fans! The Golden Bachelorette couple, Joan and Chock wanted to find a place in New York City together after they got engaged on the show, and they've given an update about this plan. During the Golden Bachelorette Season 1, Chock came up with the idea for him and Joan to find a home in New York City, although they also kept their houses in Wichita, Kansas, and Rockville, Maryland, respectively. Since the show ended, Joan and Chock have been searching for a place in New York City where they can go when they want to be alone. The Golden Bachelorette couple, Joan and Chock wanted to find a place in New York City together after they got engaged on the show, and they've given an update about this plan. In an interview with Swoon, Joan and Chock revealed that, although their goal is absolutely to live together in their forever home, the New York City move hasn't happened yet because it's been more challenging than they thought it would be to make the change. Joan confessed, "Logistically, this is a little bit harder than we expected it to be." Joan explained, "Chock has a business in Wichita, Kansas, and he's still working on getting that to a place where he can leave it and feel comfortable. So we're a little further away from that than maybe we expected or planned for, but I feel like we're still both kind of young and in our working years still, so it's a little hard." However, Joan added that it's still the plan for them to find a place in New York City where she and Chock can meet and spend time together. She said, "Going to each other's homes is fine, but it's not quite as fun. We wanted to make our meeting place someplace that we could have a little separate life, maybe away from our families for a while." Joan and Chock plan to rent instead of buying a home, but it's been hard for them to sign a lease because places are taken off the market so quickly. They're also not sure where in the city they want to live. Chock explained, "Each time we go, we stay in a different location, and they're all so nice. What's the perfect fit? We really don't know yet. That's why we wanted to rent. Then you don't have to make that full-time commitment. We stayed in Midtown South this past week, and I really enjoyed it." Joan agreed and admitted that she was more close-minded about their New York City location in the beginning because she loves Soho. She said, "I love Soho, that kind of area, Greenwich Village. But as I've stayed other places, I felt more comfortable. I think it was really a thing of feeling comfortable. Since I've been there enough times, I knew my favorite pizza place, where to get coffee, but as we spend time in other places, they're feeling more comfortable, so I'm being a little more open-minded, which hopefully will make our hunt easier. Each time we go, we stay in a different location, and they're all so nice. What's the perfect fit? We really don't know yet. That's why we wanted to rent. Then you don't have to make that full-time commitment. We stayed in Midtown South this past week, and I really enjoyed it." Joan agreed and admitted that she was more close-minded about their New York City location in the beginning because she loves Soho. She said, "I love Soho, that kind of area, Greenwich Village. But as I've stayed other places, I've felt more comfortable. I think it was really a thing of feeling comfortable. Since I've been there enough times, I knew my favorite pizza place, where to get coffee, but as we spend time in other places, they're feeling more comfortable, so I'm being a little more open-minded, which hopefully will make our hunt easier." What NYC apartment update means for Joan and Chock's relationship? Although some people think that Joan and Chock being in a long-distance relationship is a red flag, their thoughtful and slow-paced relationship actually means that it could last forever. They're not making hasty decisions and jumping into moving in together in New York City or getting married. In fact, Joan has said that there are no rush to walk down the aisle, but instead, they're spending time getting to know each other in the real world first. Joan and Chock seem to be really enjoying their new life together. They're smart to wait until they find the perfect place in New York City that suits them and where they'll feel comfortable. It'll be fantastic for them to have a New York City getaway while also maintaining their own homes in Maryland and Wichita. Our take on Joan and Chock's NYC apartment update. Before The Golden Bachelorette even began filming, Joan made it clear that she'd never leave her family, so this New York City apartment is the perfect compromise for her and Chock. They can both keep their original homes, but then also have an exciting place to go together in New York City. I think it's great that they haven't settled for a place that they don't really want just so that they can move in together, but instead they're waiting for their dream home. The Golden Bachelorette couple, Joan and Chock have been spending a significant amount of time in his hometown of Wichita, Kansas. I love that Joan and Chock are secure enough in their relationship that they can survive long distance without any issues. This proves that their Golden Bachelorette relationship was built to last. Unlike other Bachelor Nation couples, Joan and Chock think with their heads in addition to their hearts, and I believe that their relationship will last
Golden in the
forever
city,
because of it.
Joan and Chock's Big Apple gamble. When roses fade, real life begins. The confetti had long been swept from the stage of the Golden Bachelorette, but for Joan Vassos, the real journey had only just begun. The reality television lights may have dimmed, but her heart still beat for the man who surprised her and America by choosing vulnerability over bravado, Chock Wilson, a retired jazz musician from Chicago, with silver curls, a raspy laugh, and a poetic soul. Joan had always been pragmatic, a widowed grandmother and seasoned nurse. She wasn't drawn in by camera-ready smiles. But Chock? He had rhythm in his heart and sincerity in his eyes. They connected on the show in quiet corners, sharing stories of late spouses and second chances over cups of tea instead of champagne. America watched them fall not in a blaze, but in a beautiful, burning, slow dance of understanding. After the final rose, they went their separate ways geographically, Joan back to Maryland, Chock to Chicago. But emotionally, they were tied together like New York and jazz, which made what happened next all the more shocking. The distance dilemma. At first, it was romantic. Morning FaceTimes, shared playlists, digital coffee dates. They joked that they were Zoomers instead of boomers. But as months passed, the time zone difference and the endless airport gates began wearing thin. Joan's daughter Christine was due with her second child, and Joan wanted to be present. Meanwhile, Chock was still teaching saxophone on Tuesdays and moonlighting at jazz clubs on weekends. Their calendars clashed, their calls shortened. Fans noticed too. The comment sections filled with speculation. Are Joan and Chock even still together? Joan's latest post didn't even mention Chock. Another Bachelorette breakup in the making. It was Christine who finally asked the question outright. Mom, what's the plan with Chock? Are you just going to date over FaceTime until the next Bachelor spinoff comes on? Joan laughed at first, but that night she couldn't sleep. The idea that changed everything. It happened during a stroll in Central Park last spring. Joan had flown in to surprise Chock for his 70th birthday. He was playing sax near the Bethesda fountain, his hat upside down collecting tips, doing it just for the soul, as he said. When he spotted her, he grinned mid-note, broke into Stevie Wonder's Isn't She Lovely, and handed her a single yellow tulip. Later, while sharing a soft pretzel, Joan said it out loud. What if we both move somewhere new? Not Maryland, not Chicago, somewhere neutral. Chock raised an eyebrow. Like Idaho? She rolled her eyes. I was thinking New York. New York? He repeated, as if she'd said Mars. You're always playing here. I love the pace. It's not forever, just what if we tried being in the same place for a little while? He stared at the skyline. Then he said, what if? Manhattan manifestation. Finding an apartment in Manhattan is no small feat, even for a former bachelorette and a man who once jammed with Herbie Hancock. But Joan and Chock had a vision, somewhere between Central Park and Riverside Drive, close to a jazz club, but enough closet space for Joan's 7 pairs of orthopedic heels and Chock's vinyl collection. Their search became a mini-series on Instagram. Fans followed every open house tour. Week 1, tiny walk-up, 5 flights, 0 elevator. Week 2, gorgeous view, but $7K a month? We're not that famous. Week 3, found a gem, 2 bed, 1 bath, exposed brick, and a grumpy cat next door. Finally, they signed the lease. The caption read, Joan and Chock, from roses to rent, we're officially roommates. NYC, here we come. Trouble in the city. The honeymoon phase lasted 3 weeks. Then came the fights over fridge space, Chock's tendency to play sax at sunrise, and Joan's obsession with labeling pantry items in alphabetical order. You don't need to put a label that says oatmeal on the oatmeal, he grumbled one morning. And you don't need to practice Miles Davis at 5 a.m., she shot back, bleary-eyed. Their fans were invested. The updates slowed. Paparazzi snapped photos of Joan alone at a Chelsea farmer's market. Chock was seen exiting a jazz club solo. Rumors spread. Golden trouble in paradise? The turning point. It all came to a head one Sunday afternoon. Joan was watching her granddaughter's ballet recital on Zoom. Chock was scheduled for a gig in Harlem, but canceled last minute to stay with her. After the recital ended, Joan turned to him. "I didn't ask you to stay," she said. "I wanted to. I just feel like we're forcing it now. This city, this apartment, it was supposed to bring us together, but I don't know if we're suited for the same pace." Chock sat back. "So what are you saying?" "I'm saying I want to try differently. Not just same city, same rhythm." He nodded slowly. "Then let's rewrite the tempo." Jazz nights and tea mornings. From that day forward, things changed. Joan started attending Chock's late night gigs, becoming a quiet presence in the back of jazz bars, sipping club soda and nodding with the beat. Chock, in turn, learned to tiptoe in the mornings, brewing tea instead of blasting brass. They carved out routines. Wednesdays were walk days, Saturdays, grocery days. Sundays were sacred. No gigs, no labels, just brunch and crossword puzzles. They turned their apartment into a sanctuary, not an escape from the world, but a nest in the middle of it. The announcement. 3 months in, they posted a video to Instagram. It opened with Chock playing a soft jazz tune on his sax, sitting by the window overlooking a slice of the skyline. Joan entered the frame holding a coffee mug that read, "Golden Girls Still Got It." Then she spoke. "We've gotten a lot of questions. About us, about the apartment, about the city. So here's the deal," Chock said, setting down the sax. "We're not engaged, we're not married, but we're all in. We've learned that love at our age doesn't always come with rules. We're choosing each other, one sunrise and saxophone solo at a time." The caption read, "We're not long distance anymore, we're long commitment. Hashtag Golden in NYC. The city is their rose garden." They became fixtures of their neighborhood. Locals knew them as the couple who danced in the rain on 82nd Street. Joan took a part-time volunteer role at a local clinic. Chock started an impromptu jazz night on their rooftop that drew neighbors from 6 buildings over. They didn't hide. They weren't trying to go viral, but love like theirs always found an audience. What comes next? When asked in an interview with People magazine if they'd ever officially tie the knot, Joan smiled. "We've both worn rings. Now we just wear each other." Chock grinned. Besides, Joan's allergic to gold. That's the irony of being the golden bachelorette. They still visited their respective families. Joan made monthly trips to Maryland. Chock returned to Chicago to catch up with old bandmates. But New York had become home, not because of the zip code, but because of the love letter they were writing in real time every day in the city that never sleeps. Roses reimagined. The final scene of their story, for now, wasn't filmed for TV. It happened on a quiet spring morning in Central Park. Joan sipping tea in a to-go cup, Chock playing his sax just for her. No cameras, no scripts, just music, love, and a New York apartment filled with laughter, second chances, and a little golden light.